Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, number 361 in the gray hymnal. Good morning and welcome. I'm Laura Anderson, the Worship Associate for this service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Charlotte County, also known as UUFCC. I'm a 66-year-old white cisgender woman. My pronouns are she, her. I'm short and curvy. I have long silver and purple hair. I wear glasses, and today I'm wearing a coral flowery dress. UUFCC is a lay-led fellowship, a liberal religious community committed to diversity and social justice. We are a place where spirituality, reason, compassion, service, and fellowship meet. Thank you to all who have made the service possible this morning, with a special thanks to Dave Martin for sharing his musical talents with us. We have a new modem, and I am hopeful that this service will be broadcast live this morning. We've had internet problems off and on since Hurricane Ian. The service is being recorded and will be available for viewing on the UUFCC YouTube channel after the service. Please join me in welcoming Jennifer Welch, our speaker this morning. Today is the second Sunday, and Jennifer is here from the Homeless Coalition. Welcome to all of you here in the sanctuary, and welcome to all of you who are listening virtually. You are welcome at UUFCC. Welcome no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter your background, your spiritual journey. We know you come here for different reasons: to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to ask questions, to nurture, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas. We come from different places, different religions, different beliefs, and different backgrounds. We trust you will find something that you need here: comfort, connection, challenge, love, and we hope you will find ways to help others. If you are new here today, please stand or wave as you're comfortable so that we can welcome you. And could you tell us your name?
I'm Jeff.
Welcome, Jeff.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi, I'm Karen.
Good morning, Karen. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Norm. This is my sister Sandra.
Welcome. If you would like to learn more about our fellowship, please visit our website at uufcc.org. The flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism and is lit to create sacred space. Reverend Tellis Whitfield of the All Souls UU Church of Brattleboro, Vermont, shares these words. With the kindling of our flame, we recognize the fragility of life and our own vulnerability as we navigate challenges that always seem to come. May this light remind us of the strength we possess as individuals and collectively as a community to lean into and respond, finding our way forward together. I invite you at home to light your chalices as Cheryl comes forward to light the chalice here. Please join me in the chalice lighting words found in the order of service. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you, Cheryl. The opening words this morning are from the Soul Matters materials and written by Reverend Gretchen Haley of the Foothills Unitarian Universalist Church in Fort Collins, Colorado. Grace meets us where we are. There is nothing you need to bring with you to be welcome here. No right beliefs or proof of citizenship. No eternal optimism or clarity of conviction. No boundless courage or endless expertise. You do not need to know what brought you here or how you will solve that problem that you are turning over and over and over in your mind. Your bills do not need to be paid, and your checkbook can be a mess. Your children may have been up half the night. Of course, at our age, we wouldn't know. Your hearing aids may not be working, and your knees may be creaking. You do not need to be already perfect or even halfway to belong in this circle where grace meets us where we are, but does not leave us as it found us. Where love resides in each of us, yet is somehow more than all, where life still pulses and rages and heals and transforms, creating us and this day anew once again. Come, let us worship together. Please rise in body or spirit. We'll sing number 108 in the gray hymnal, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. We acknowledge the sacredness of life by sharing our joys, sorrows, and life milestones and entering them in the book of life. These messages can be written in the book, which is located in the back of the sanctuary, or emailed to bookoflife@uufcc.org. After I share these messages, we'll enter into a moment of silence. Thank you. Jackie is in the hospital today. She's been there for a few days under observation for what might be symptoms of a stroke. Lori is busy driving back and forth to the hospital and keeping Jackie's spirits up, so please keep them in your thoughts. Sharon, better late than never, right? I have just received notice that the 30-plus poems I've written as a way to process my husband Jim's death a year and a half ago have been accepted as a publishable chapbook by Kelsey Books, an independent literary press under the Alabaster Leaves imprint. He would be proud of me. Sometimes we have items in the Book of Life that are sort of announcements and sort of milestones as well. Maybe I should read this one in both places. Linda writes, if you value diversity, equity, and inclusion in studies in Florida's secondary education, please share your email with her so you can join in taking action to protect it. Today. May we hold these and our unspoken joys and sorrows in our hearts. May we also hold one another in love and tenderness so that this fellowship may be a source of strength and comfort, courage and hope in the days and weeks ahead. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Jennifer Welch. Jennifer is the Director of Development at the Homeless Coalition. The Homeless Coalition has been in existence in Charlotte County since 1989. Jennifer comes to us from upstate New York, where she moved to Florida in 1993. And is probably glad you have every time it snows in upstate New York. Jennifer has a background in marketing and nonprofit communication. She has lived and worked 21 years in this area, doing both private as well as nonprofit work. She has spent 2 years with the Homeless Coalition, and before that she did marketing and communication for Habitat for Humanity and the Girl Scouts. Jennifer?
Good morning. First of all, thank you for having me today. If I sound a little raspy, Red Tide and I don't get along. And I live very close to the Charlotte Harbor on the Lee-Charlotte line. And I woke up this morning and took the dogs out and realized, oh, I shouldn't have done that before. I have to speak to a group. So they always tell you, stick to the plan. You're sticking to the plan. I didn't according to this morning, because this is why I sound like this. Those of you, there's a few here that know me, and I don't usually sound this raspy, but they always say stick to the plan. How do you stick to the plan when you find yourself homeless? You wonder how you're going to eat, how you're going to feed your children. The cost of eggs is too much for your breakfast. That's what people that we deal with every day encounter. When I first started with the Homeless Coalition, it was in the heat of the pandemic. I couldn't go to speaking engagements. Churches weren't meeting. Groups weren't gathering. And I couldn't speak to anyone. So I had to figure out what to do. So I just picked up the phone the old school way. I went back to 1976, and I was in high school, and that was the only way I communicated and knew what anybody was doing. There was no social media, thank goodness. And just started calling people and introducing myself, just the old-fashioned way. And I spoke to a man who had just given us a check for $5,000. And I called to ask him why. What made you do this? And he said, I looked up your website, and I thought I liked what you did. And I really enjoyed it. And I said, in my true salesperson way, how would you like to double your money? At the time, we were in the middle of a capital campaign to pay off our mortgage, because paying off our mortgage meant that we could free up over $45,000 a year, hire another case manager, and put money right back to programs and services, which is what we are about. And he said, I'm listening. I said, we have a donor that's going to match every dollar that goes towards this campaign. Your donation will seal the deal. He said, you have my attention. At Christmas this time, after several times of us trying to take a tour of our facility, he showed up for a tour, and I said, great, you're finally here, 5 times the charm. And he said, no, I'm not. My father-in-law just passed away, and I have to tend to it with my wife. But I did want to give you something, but I want to meet your boss. And I said, okay. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing sometimes. And I said, all right. So I brought him down to Tina's office, and I introduced him. And I said, this is Kevin, and he would like to meet you. And he said, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And I'm here because of this lady. Now, he gives about $5,000 every quarter. And he says, I'm here with my gift. And I said, okay, I really appreciate it, and I'm so glad you're here, but I'm sorry to hear about your father-in-law. Why would you take the time out of your day to come see us? And he said, because I want to give you this. It was $25,000. I almost fell off the chair. The point is, there was no plan. I didn't plan on him doing that. I just planned on being a nice person. Sometimes that's all that matters. Since I've been there, we used to do about 600 pantry boxes a month. And then we went through that second round of COVID in 2022, and the staff got hit with it in February. The staff got hit with it in May, and we went from 600 to 1,800 boxes a month. And then something called Ian happened on September 28th, and now we're about at 2,800 boxes a month. And it's not who you expect to see looking for a food pantry box just to get by. It's senior citizens on a fixed income that just can't make that dollar stretch. It's families that are living in a camper in their backyard because they're still waiting for a roof on their house. It's families that are struggling that normally wouldn't struggle. The definition of homelessness is chronically homeless, living without a home, whether it's in the woods or your car or from couch to couch, for 2 years or more. How do you explain that to someone that just lost everything they work for? The face of homelessness changed for all of us, and every person in this room was affected by that day. I have been in Florida for 30 years, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And I was here for Charlie. That was pretty bad. I remember going to work at Harbor Nissan and asking, "Where's my office?" And they said, "Oh, it's over in the Publix parking lot." I said, "Oh, well, that's not going to work." And the office next to me was perfectly intact, but our building only had 3 walls. But you know what we did? We pulled up our sleeves and started fixing tires for free, passing out water, passing out Gatorade. The owner gave me a giant Ram truck because all my family and friends lived on Pine Island and they didn't have water or electric. And we would load up with food and sandwiches and Gatorade. And I was known as the ice lady. And I would just drive through because I got there before Red Cross. We've all learned a lot of lessons. But we didn't. One lesson I did not forget from that day is you have to give back to the community. I give back every day. Sometimes I go home and cry. Sometimes I go home and laugh. Sometimes I just think I'm lucky that I only lost half my roof and I didn't have water for 21 days. But it's okay because I'm not homeless all the time. I have a support system. There are people there that will take care of me. I have parents. I'm very fortunate to still have parents alive and in-laws. I still have my brother, my stepsister, my stepbrother, my half-sister. We all have each other. But what we don't have is the fear of the unknown. And sometimes we all feel like that. We feel like this day could never get any worse. How can it get any worse? And then you realize somebody has it worse off than you, and all you have to do is help. So here comes the question, how do I help? Well, I see 2 volunteers out here that have already come up and introduced themselves to us. You can give in many ways. Some people can write a $5,000 check. I know I can. Some people can just give their time. Time is worth as much as money. Volunteering. We need volunteers in all aspects. We had over 500 volunteers before the pandemic. We went down to 100 during the pandemic. We might be around 200 to 250 now. People are hesitant to come back. The realization is if you give back just one night a month to serve dinner, one day a week to sit at the front desk and just hear people and listen to them and help them get to that next step, to help a family that has no idea what homelessness means, to help a veteran that didn't know there was a place just for him or her. That's what the Homeless Coalition is about. We welcome anyone that walks through our door. We try to help everyone. Now, state and federal regulations deem what homelessness is, so we are restricted on some funding. But we have amazing donors that help us. So every person that walks through that door, whether it be you after a storm or Bob that's been in the woods for 7 years, we're going to help you. We're going to make a difference in your life, guiding through the red tape of trying to find unemployment, food stamps, whatever you need, or just temporary housing, how to get through the FEMA system. That should be a course in itself. But just thinking that someone's there to listen to you. We always need volunteers. We have a wonderful store. I ask you all to go afterwards to Fabulous Finds. It's our resale shop. And we met with the Patterson Foundation, and we were one of 4 nonprofits in the area to have a 3-year business plan with them. The goal was to become independent, not dependent on state and federal guidelines and money. With that, in our first year of the plan, which we have completed, we were able to transfer $30,000 over from Fabulous Finds profits to the Homeless Coalition that went directly back to programs and services. This year, our goal is $60,000. We're on track. And then next year, it's $90,000, and so on, and so on, and so on. These are the things you could donate there. You can help. Donate your clothes. And even if your clothes are not up to par and you're like, oh, I don't think anybody would want this shirt, throw them in a bag, mark them salvage. We throw them in a salvage bin. We sell them by the pound. They go to third world countries to help them, and we still are profiting the Homeless Coalition. So don't feel like you can't do that. Don't have time during the week, you're too busy? Come help in the kitchen on the weekends. Our chef is all by himself usually on a Saturday or a Sunday. There's no one there to help him. And we get huge donations. We partner with Harry Chapin Food Bank, and we get bread donations every single day, and there's always bread out front for anyone who wants it at any time. But he's only one guy. He still has to cook 2 meals, 2 hot meals a day for anyone that's unsheltered or sheltered. We serve 365 days a year, not just Christmas and Thanksgiving, and people are always hungry, and we make sure that they have something to eat. Don't know what else to give. How about Tupperware, reusable water bottles? For the unsheltered, as we get into these hotter days, we always have water available for them outside. But we don't want to use styrofoam cups and styrofoam food containers. We're trying to be kind to the earth in our neighborhood because it can get a little ugly because they have nowhere to go. So they go to the ground. There's so many different things you can do. And then people say, well, I do want to give money. You could be a key holder. $10 a month feeds a child breakfast for a month. Just $10 a month. I can talk to you more about that program. It's a very simple way to give. I personally give $50 a month so I can feed a family for a month. It makes a difference. I still want to say, don't think about the plan. Never think about the plan. Think about the moment, because every moment can change. And because of people in our community that are so kind and so giving, we're able to sustain and continue to grow and strive. When I started there, I think we had 26 employees. We're up to 40. We're growing because we need to help more people. There were 2 case managers, I think, when I started. I think there's like 8 now. We have a full-time veterans case manager that just helps our veterans. We are the only shelter in a 75-mile radius that has 22 beds reserved for veterans at all times. The first question that's asked when you call, are you a veteran? Can we help you? And if anyone that's been through government red tape, I am the wife of a veteran, a daughter of a veteran, and I remember applying for a VA mortgage and thinking, will this ever end? Imagine that you're doing this from your phone in a car. It would be very frustrating. We are always here. We're on Kennesaw Street. We're not far. We're in your neighborhood. Please come for a tour. Call me personally. I will be happy to take you on one to see what we do on a day-to-day basis. Come help in our food pantry. Come do a food drive, do a clothing drive. Do something to make a difference. Clean out your closet. I do it once a month. It's very soothing. And just give back because you're helping someone. And remember that shop. I talk about a thrift store. People are like, oh, you're talking about a thrift store. Any client that comes to us and needs anything, we give them a voucher. We don't hand them a shirt and a pair of socks and a jeans and say, this is what we're going to give you. We give them a voucher to go shop with dignity. Go find what you need. When they get rehomed and they get a permanent housing, and we get them in that through our rapid rehousing program, they're given vouchers to furnish their home, to get new clothes, to go to a job interview, to do whatever they need. We're here for them. And it doesn't end when we get them in permanent housing. We stay with them for 2 years with a case manager, and they're helped throughout it. So the next time you see someone, may not be as fortunate as you are, or you're thinking, I'm having the worst day of my life, think somebody might be having a worse day than me, and I can make a change. There's no reason to judge a book by its cover, and in this group, I can see not one person in here does that. You judge the person by who they can be and who they are and how they express themselves. Think about that as you go through your day, and be proud that you are someone that embraces all, even those less fortunate. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that information about the much needed services in our community. Please rise in body or spirit. And I know you can sing better than we did on that last song. We'll sing in the gray hymnal number 101, Abide by Me.
Can't see.
First, I need to say, if you are with us here for the first time, do not feel obligated to give. Today you are our guest. I forgot to mention this milestone earlier, but Tom shared with me some good news that he said I could share with you. I don't know if you heard, but Tom won the lottery last week. He won $3 million. So Dick, who's our treasurer, called him up and he said, "So Tom, are you going to donate some of that to the fellowship?" And he said, yes, he'd donate a quarter of it to us. Now Tom has $2,999,999.75. In our tradition, congregations exist because of the generous support of members and friends. It is our privilege and our responsibility to ensure the health and future of this fellowship. Offerings are accepted in the basket that will be passed around in a moment, can be mailed to the office, and through the Venmo app. However you decide to give, be sure to say what your donation is going to, whether it's your pledge or second helping or something else. Now, I'm not telling you how much to give, but I would encourage you to not be as cheap as Tom is. Okay, when I asked Tom if I could poke fun at him this morning with my joke, he said yes, but he wanted to remind you that he pledges and has his pledge taken directly from his account. And that is another way that you can donate. Today is the second Sunday of the month, and our second collection will go to support the much in-demand work of the Homeless Coalition. We will now accept the offering. Thank you for your generosity. It's time for us to have the Life of the Community announcements. If you have announcements you would like to share, please give them to the worship associate or email them to worship@uufcc.org. Don't forget to check out the CDs in the social hall. We have some good jazz music. All donations are gratefully accepted. I would like to remind everyone that there's a social justice meeting that will happen in the fellowship hall after the service. Our closing words today are by Reverend Hope Johnson. We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits, here not by circumstance, not by coincidence, but because we choose to journey together. We are active and proactive. We care deeply. We live our love as best we can. We are one, working, eating, laughing, playing, singing, storytelling, sharing, and rejoicing, getting to know each other, taking risks, opening up, questioning, seeking, searching, trying to understand, struggling, making mistakes, paying attention, asking questions, listening, living our answers, learning to love our neighbors, learning to love ourselves, apologizing and forgiving with humility, and being forgiven through grace, creating the beloved community together. We are one. Please join me in our traditional recitation as in your order of service as Cheryl comes to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of hope, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. May those ideals shine in our lives and warm our hearts until we are together again. Go now in peace. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 1008 in the Teal hymnal, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Why don't you come up and use the microphone, Mary Jane, so everybody can hear you? Okay, yell and I'll repeat them.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't get these announcements in. The first thing is I want to remind everybody that the congregational meeting is the last Sunday of the month, the 26th, immediately following service. All members will be voting on the nominations for officers that are open on the board, nominating committee, and delegates to General Assembly. We'll also be voting on what color to paint the sanctuary. So you can start to think about that. You'll have 2 choices to pick from. 3 choices? No, there'll be 2 choices to pick from. Good try. Obviously, Nancy doesn't like either of the 2 choices. One other thing is I apologize for not reminding everybody to change their clocks, but I think we're all okay. I usually put that in the weekly update, and I didn't do it this week, so I apologize. Pledge envelopes can go in the blue batters box up on the stage, and you're welcome to do that anytime over the next few weeks. You can just drop them up before service in the blue box underneath that little tripod. That's it.